I bought a bag of pennies, which appear to be mostly wheat cents, although there's some oddities in here like some mint tokens. Could be some other copper cents as well, but either way, we're going to hunt through this, see if we have any better dates, see if we have any varieties, and hopefully we score more than I paid for it. Hey everyone, it's Rob Finds Treasure and welcome back to the channel. Like I said in the intro, we bought this bag of pennies and it appears to be mostly wheat cents, although there's some other things in here. So the plan is to dump out the bag, start going through it, see if we have any better dates. If I do, I'll bring it back in. If not, I'll be checking for varieties, and if I have those, I'll bring it back in. In the meantime, if there's nothing fantastic in here and it's all just common stuff and there's no varieties, I'll just give you guys periodic updates to let you know what the breakdown is by teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s if we should have that kind of mix. Let me get this bag opened up properly and dumped out, and we'll see what it looks like on the mat. Well, I decided against opening the bag properly because it might make a bigger mess than I really want to deal with right now. So we'll just dump it out really quick and see what it looks like. If you're wondering about the weight, it's 8.5 pounds of pennies and penny products. And yeah, hopefully it's all wheat cents or mostly wheat cents. It'd be a shame if there's a bunch of copper cents in here that are common dates like 73 through 1979. But yeah, man, this is harder than I thought. Maybe I should have opened it the proper way. There's a few left in the bag. We'll get to those in a second. Let me just spread it out really quick and see what we're looking at here. Well, I already see a teens wheat cent in there. I wasn't expecting to see that based on what it looked like, but I don't see any copper cents, and I do see a few steel cents as well. So could be a nice mix here. I'll pull out all these mint tokens as well. I've got plenty of those, but let me get the sort started. And like I said, if I have a good find, I'll bring it back in. Otherwise, I'll bring it back in with an update. All right, quick update. I've made some progress. We're still pulling out these mint tokens. I did have one 1959 cent in there, as well as a handful of copper cents. These are the teens, only two so far, and this one gave me a scare. At first glance, I thought it said 14D, but I'm 99% sure it's going to be an 18D with a worn 8. Either way, that's the best from the teens. That's the 20s. That's the 30s. We do have a couple of 1930 San Francisco's, slightly better date, so I pulled those to the side, and that's all the 40s and 50s so far. Over here is the nicer looking pre-1958 coins. This is the nicest 1956. And then there's a couple of other decent ones, 1954 San Francisco right here. I may just throw those back into the 50s, but wanted to show you that there's a few nicer coins throughout, as well as some decent 40s in here that have some little bit of red showing, but didn't want to pull them all out here and clog up the mat. That being said, that's the first update. Time to get back after it, see if we can find some goodies. We'll get back to the video in just a moment, but really quickly, let me share some information with you all. With gold recently surpassing $4,200 per ounce and silver breaking above $53, both all-time highs, the gold mining sector has been on fire in 2025, and today's sponsor is right in the middle of it all. Today's video is sponsored by GoldMining Inc. They're listed on the New York Stock Exchange American under the ticker GLDG. This is a gold exploration company with over 10 projects across the Americas and holds large equity positions in other publicly listed gold companies, giving investors built-in leverage to gold prices and exposure to additional catalysts. Major institutions like Van Eck, Ruffer, Goldman Sachs, and Sprott already hold positions in GoldMining Inc. As of October 14, 2025, gold mining had a market cap of around $332 million US, but get this, its portfolio of equity holdings plus cash positions were worth about $236 million alone. That's before assigning any value to its extensive exploration stage gold and gold copper projects across the Americas, or to its uranium project in Canada's world-famous Athabasca Basin. Plus, the company has no debt. When you do the math, it's clear. The market hasn't fully priced in gold mining's underlying assets or optionality. Despite this, the stock is already up over 100% in 2025, based on its most recent MD&A as of August 31st, 2025, and closing prices of underlying securities as of October 14th, 2025. Now let's break down some of those equity holdings based on the October 14th closing prices. 9.9 million shares of U.S. GoldMining Inc., U.S. GEO on the NASDAQ, valued at over $143 million. 21.5 million shares of Gold Royalty Corp., GROY on the New York Stock Exchange American, worth $78.4 million, and 19 million shares of NAV Gold, NAU.V on the TSX-V, valued at $7.9 million. And finally, 84.4 million shares of Australian Mines Limited, AUZ.ASX, valued at about $1.4 million. Altogether, that's roughly $231 million in equities against a $332 million market cap. Two of those positions have nearly tripled this year alone. On top of that, GoldMining owns one of the largest resource stage portfolios in the Americas, with more than 12.4 million ounces of estimated gold equivalent in the measured and indicated category, and an additional 9.1 million ounces of estimated gold equivalent in the inferred category, spanning projects in Canada, the U.S., Brazil, Colombia, and Peru. All of this is backed up by technical reports and filings available at sedarplus.ca. The company recently announced plans to advance 4 key projects with a major focus on the São Jorge project in Brazil, its largest ever exploration program launched in May 2025. São Jorge hosts an open pit resource with about 1 gram per ton on a massive 46,000 hectare land package. This kind of resource expansion is critical, especially as major producers are struggling to replace reserves. Leadership matters as well. GoldMining's leadership is co-chaired by David Garofalo, former CEO of Goldcorp, and Amir Adnani, a seasoned mining entrepreneur. Also of note is the fact that insiders own over 10 million shares, showing strong alignment with shareholders. If you're looking for a company with exposure to gold price, a pipeline of development projects, and interesting institutional and insider backing, GoldMining Inc., New York Stock Exchange American, GLDG, is worth a closer look. As always, make sure you review GoldMining's public filings for important information regarding it and its projects, including its most recent annual information form and technical reports referenced in them. Again, these are available at www.sedarplus.ca. Before we get back to the video, I want to remind everyone that I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Investing in stocks, including gold mining companies, carries risk, and you could potentially lose your entire investment. Always seek the advice of a licensed financial advisor before making any investment decisions. Now let's get back to the video. I am back with another update. We're probably closing in on about the midpoint of the bag of wheat cents. I bring in though, because take a look at this. We have a fake plastic penny. No date, play money. You know, I've found these before in my hunts. Actually, I found them in bankrolls. Not something I wanted to see in the bag, but always fun to find something miscellaneous like that. If you're wondering about the ratio, it looks like I've pulled out all the tokens. Copper's starting to add up just a little bit as far as the memorial backs. We have 4 total teens, a bunch of 20s, a lot of 30s, and that's all the 40s and 50s, and still no varieties. But like I said, we're only about halfway done. So let's get back after it, see if we can score a variety or even another better date. An eternity later. All right, we finished the sort. I figured I would just knock it out since I wasn't finding anything fantastic, but I'll give you guys a quick breakdown of the best finds in a second. I will make mention that in the 30s, and even though I didn't sort them on the board like I did the teens and the 20s, we did have a lot of mid to late 30s years that had Denver and San Francisco mint marks, and those are typically under 100 million minted. So there were some better dates in here, but only slightly better. We had the 59. These are all the copper coins as far as memorial backs. That's all the mint tokens. These are all zinc, by the way. None of those are copper. And we barely made it with the 40s and 50s filling up that jar. Down here is the best finds. We had 1917, not the DDO, that's the earliest year. We had the 18S, and we had a bunch of 1919s, all Philly. Moving into the 20s, we had a bunch of 1920 on the nose, 120 Denver. We had 2 24Ps, a handful of 27Ps, a few 28Ps, and a bunch of 29Ps. The best dates in the 30s were the two 1930 San Franciscos that we found early on. And I thought we'd see some more earlier 30s with some mint marks, but it wasn't until 1935, 36, 37, 38, and 39 that we also had mint marks as well. We also got that fake penny, which is always fun to see, but obviously not worth anything. And if you're wondering about the total worth of this, we had an actual weight of 8 pounds and 11 ounces. So it came out to roughly 1,300 cents if you account for a little bit of wear and not call them all 3.11 grams. And at 1,300 cents, if I paid 3 cents, which is the copper melt for them, that would only be about $40 in value. If I paid a nickel or 5 cents for every wheat cent, then that'd be $65 in value. So unlike previous times where I might have made out like a bandit on some of these purchases, this one I think I lost money on. I paid $75 for it, and at best case, it's worth about $60 to $65. So we definitely lost on this one. But the good news is I get to add a whole bunch of more wheat cents to my collection. And even though we didn't find any varieties, it was still worth the extra $10 or $15 I lost to go through them, to scope them for varieties, and have fun maybe finding a better coin or variety. We didn't score it this time, but I still had fun going through it, and hopefully you guys did too. If you did, you know I certainly would appreciate that thumbs up. And as always, everyone, happy hunting, and thanks for watching.